Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. We appreciate all comments, whether positive or negative, because it is very important to ventilate both sides of any issue. All we ask is that you observe the YouTube community guidelines. We'd like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the BBC and Channel 4's coverage of Lewis Hamilton and Abu Dhabi. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. Thank you. A recent spike in hateful rhetoric directed at Sir Lewis has raised serious concerns about his safety at the upcoming Las Vegas GP. As we will show you in this video, the level of hateful anti-Lewis rhetoric on mainstream and social media has reached alarming levels, even by his standard. Sir Lewis has been the target of hateful rhetoric for so long that it is normal for him to have some level of targeting. However, recent events have shown that there has been a concerted effort to whip up hatred against him on the eve of the Las Vegas GP. He has been routinely demonized as a liar, tax dodger, brat, fake, sexist, woke, and other such invectives, but the attacks have recently ratcheted up to another level. How Sir Lewis came to be the focus of so much hatred in the first instance has been the subject of extensive research and debate around the world. And unfortunately, the findings have revealed that the driving force behind the hatred is the British media. They have long led the efforts to foment hatred of the Black Brit by demonizing him through their skewed and coded coverage. For example, he has been portrayed as a tax dodger for exercising the legal right that he, like every other taxpayer, has to minimize their taxes. But the demonization is made worse, on so many mind-blowing levels, starting with the fact that it is being perpetrated by media houses whose owners are enjoying that very right, by being based in tax havens. On yet another level, you could be forgiven for thinking that Sir Lewis is the only Brit or British Formula One driver to live in the tax haven of Monaco, but you would be wrong, because all the current drivers are living in Monaco, and all, if not most of the retired, are living or have lived in Monaco. So why is Sir Lewis the only Brit residing in Monaco, being portrayed in a negative light as a tax dodger? There has never been one article written portraying any other British Formula One driver as a tax dodger for living in Monaco, apart from Sir Lewis. Lando Norris, the current darling of the British media, lives in Monaco, as does or did Jenson Button, the last British world champion after Sir Lewis. Even members of the F1 media, like David Coulthard, who lead the anti-Lewis brigade, lives in Monaco. We are not aware that Martin Brundle has been successful enough to live in a tax haven, but surely this can't be his reason for hating on Sir Lewis? Anyway, let us move on. This is not about the lying toad and his ilk. This is about how the media skew their coverage to incite hatred and how that hatred leads to violence. We have provided several copies of the types of headlines that have been used over the years to incite hatred of Sir Lewis, through coded language and imagery. And as you can see, the British media have led the way in the demonization of the black British driver and goat. It is therefore par for the course that they are at the root of the latest spike in hateful anti-Lewis rhetoric. An attack piece from Jeremy Clarkson, a notorious Lewis hater, has spawned a raft of secondary attack pieces, referencing the primary attack piece. As many of our regular visitors will recall, we have shown how this is the standard ruse for permeating the media space, with hateful content targeted at specific groups or individuals. You know, the same technique that we showed Toto Wolff using to smear Sir Lewis during the season. You get some deranged individual suffering from Lewis Hamilton derangement syndrome to spout their unhinged and hateful anti-Lewis rhetoric, as if they were reasoned conclusions, and hey presto, you have an attack piece masquerading as a good faith debate about ageism in Formula One. But just like with the tax dodger debate, you would be forgiven for thinking that Sir Lewis was the oldest driver in F1, or there isn't talk about other older drivers returning to the sport. Why is the media space not filled with Spanish media-led debate about Fernando Alonso, or the German media-led debate about Sebastian Vettel being too old to make a comeback? It would appear that ageism, like tax, only applies to the black driver, but as you can see from the examples that we have included, these skewed articles provide the platform for the spewing of hateful anti-Lewis rhetoric. The threat of danger from the sustained attack inspired by the media in his home country has been cranked up by his home team joining the attack. Yes, folks, Sir Lewis's home team has opened a new flank to attack him from within. To recall, we have shown in previous videos how Toto had been involved with the outrageous suggestion before mid-season that Sir Lewis was so demotivated by falling behind to George Russell that he was considering retiring and not taking up his record-breaking, career-defining Ferrari seat. So, it should come as no surprise that after George overtook Sir Lewis on the driver's table, the talk about him being too old and possibly past his shelf life has been introduced into the mainstream and social media space by his own team, working in tandem with British media. As far back as May, we had exposed the Anglo-German plot to ambush Sir Lewis's transfer to Ferrari, and here we are in November, with 3 races to go, an Anglo-German plot to depict the GOAT as too old and past his shelf life has materialized. But as is always the case with all those afflicted by LHDS, they are so focused on saying something to smear the GOAT that they fail to recognize that they are outing themselves as deranged. We have already stated that we will be addressing all the Toto excerpts that have been released as part of the book's promotion in due course, so we will try to limit ourselves to the shelf life comment in this video. To begin with, it is no coincidence that Toto's shelf life comments have come out in promotion of the book, at the same time Jeremy Clarkson, the known Lewis Hamilton derangement syndrome sufferer, comes out to attack him as being too old. It is just yet another example of Toto showing the world what a despicable specimen he is. Secondly, the book supposedly covers 2023 and 2024, the years when the author was embedded in the team, so how come all the attention and publicity are focused on Sir Lewis's departure? It is rather odd that Toto, Mercedes, and the author would focus so much attention on the second driver who was past his shelf life. Surely one would have expected that after a few passing tributes to the aging and declining driver, the book would have focused on the bright future ahead for Mercedes and the promise of the next great white hope. Why is the man who told the whole world that he took the risk of losing the GOAT because he wanted to make way for the kid, now complaining that he was denied the opportunity to get another driver? Apart from the recognized dangers from fueling hatred against specific groups or individuals, what is particularly alarming in this instance is that this is Sir Lewis's team principal and team, fueling hatred against him, when they are plagued with accusations of sabotaging him throughout the season. They have astonishingly validated the corner piece of the sabotage accusation by openly declaring that they use his car for experimenting with different settings during the race weekend. So, how safe is Sir Lewis when his team and team principal are openly whipping up hatred against him? We will continue to pray for his safe delivery to Ferrari, and we would urge Ferrari to start speaking up in his defense. Forza Ferrari.